So today, Nigel Farage took over a petrol station in Derbyshire, slapped reform branding all over the pumps, and sold fuel at 25 pence off, the cheapest in the country, apparently, all as a one-day stunt to promote his fuel duty policy. And then he held a press conference where he got asked about council tax promises his party made before last year's local elections. And here's the thing, he's actually answered that question twice, to two different journalists, and gave two completely different answers. And the second one, the Beth Rigby clip that's doing the rounds all day, that's the polished version. And even that was bad with the wrong, wrong, wrong. The clip that you should actually be watching is the one that came before it. So before Beth Rigby got to him, an ITV journalist put it to Farage straight. And Farage's answer is fascinating. Not because it's convincing, because it really isn't, but because you can hear a man who hasn't figured out his line yet.
The politics of it, your leaflets at last year's local elections promised to reduce waste and cut your taxes. Most of the councils that you took control of are putting council tax up, including Kent, 3.99%.
So across the country, we're putting up council tax less than the other parties where they control councils. Our average increase is less than the rate of inflation. We've made over £300 million of savings across the councils. And by the way, I never said we'd cut. Your
leaflet said cut your taxes.
Well, which means don't charge the maximum of 4.99%.
Most people would think that would be cutting your taxes.
Never once in the country ever did I say we would cut council tax.
Was it a mistake to put it on your leaflet?
I never put it on my leaflets.
You did. It said reduce waste and cut your taxes. Those were the words.
Nothing with my name ever went on that.
That was on a Reform UK leaflet in Kent at the last
Nothing with my name ever went on that. But what I did say is we'd save money, and we are saving money.
So no such claims will appear on your leaflets this year then?
We did not say we would cut tax.
Reduce waste and cut your taxes. That was on a Reform UK leaflet in Kent.
Well, cutting taxes can mean not putting them up as much, I suppose, but I never promised cuts in council tax.
You see, that was some proper mental gymnastics. He tries three different defences in about 40 seconds. First is nothing with my name ever went on it. So the leader of Reform UK is distancing himself from Reform UK's leaflets. Then it was, well, that was on a Reform UK leaflet in Kent, as if Kent is some rogue operation he's never even heard of. And then, and I really do not understand how he managed to square this circle, cutting taxes could be not putting them up as much, I suppose. I suppose? He supposes? The leader of a party that literally printed cut your taxes on campaign literature is now suggesting that maybe cut doesn't actually mean cut. It means increase, but by less than the other lot. That's one hell of a political position. It's like terms and conditions footnote. Cut your taxes, asterisk, does not constitute legally binding commitment to reduce the amount of pay. And then he lands on, but I never promised to cut some council tax, which apart from barely being a sentence, is the answer of a man who doesn't know what he's talking about. He knows the leaflets exist, he knows what it says, but he hasn't quite worked out how to deny it yet.
Cutting taxes can mean not putting them up as much, I suppose, but I never promised cuts in council tax.
Remember this answer, because what happens next is quite remarkable. So what I can only assume is later on in the day, Beth Rigby from Sky News asks him essentially the same question. You pledged to cut council tax, it's gone up, how can anyone trust you? And suddenly it's a completely different man answering that question.
You're pledging to cut fuel duty and pressing the government to do so, but you also pledged, or some of your candidates did, to cut council tax when they were trying to win elections at local level, and that's gone up. So how can anyone trust anything you say?
Wrong. Never once last year in the county campaign, including here in Derbyshire, did I ever say that we cut council tax.
Some of your candidates did, they haven't. They've put it up.
No. Our literature...
I'll check what the people in Kent said, because they're putting it up.
You can listen if you want to, or we can jack it in now. It's entirely up to you.
Wrong. That's the answer now. Not, I suppose cutting taxes could mean put them up just as not as much, or nothing to do with my name on it. It's just wrong. And when Beth pushes back, he threatens to end the interview. So in one morning, he's gone from half conceding the point to flatly denying it ever happened. From fumbling to furious. You're literally watching a man workshop his lie at the very moment he's being asked it. And by the time the cameras he knows people will actually be watching are rolling, the story has changed completely. And to be clear about what actually happened, Reform UK sent out campaign literature ahead of last year's local elections that said, reduce waste and cut your taxes. pretty much like this one. Those are the words. Farage admitted to ITV that those leaflets existed, and then when he told Beth Rigby that nobody ever said anything of the kind. Both of those things cannot be true. One of those journalists got an honest answer, and one of them got the performance. And that's the performance that went viral. And this isn't just the council tax problem. It's the way he operates on everything. I mean, take Iran. Beth Rigby, who had some good questions at that press conference, also hit him with the fact that Reform can't agree on whether Britain should be involved in the war. She listed the contradictions. Farage said that we should, do all we can to support military action. Robert Jenrick said that he didn't think that we should join in the bombing, and Richard Tice said that Reform should use the RAF, whereas Andrea Jenkins said don't rule anything out. 4 senior Reform figures, 4 different positions, all on war.
But if you can't even agree a position amongst the leadership, how do you expect people to trust your national security?
Well, I tell you what, given that we can't even send a Royal Naval vessel to defend British sovereign territory and an RAF base, we certainly don't have the capability to offer anything of any value to the Americans or the Israelis. So defending the base, recognising the catastrophe that is now the Royal Navy, and by the way, President Macron is really, frankly, showing the humiliating state that we've sunk to today with his very decisive actions and his intention to help clear the Straits of Hormuz. And the other point is protecting British citizens. I think so far the government have hired 1 charter plane, and even that broke down and was 24 hours late. So yes, we should never, ever, ever have said no to the Americans using the bases, particularly Diego Garcia. And interestingly, Mauritius have been very, very clear they would not have allowed that base to be used at all. So there are differing opinions as to whether we should physically join the attacks. I, as leader, am saying to you, if we can't even defend Cyprus, let's not get ourselves involved in another foreign war.
My question then is, what is Reform's position? Because you two have said...
I've just told you what the position is. We cannot get involved directly in another foreign war. We don't have a navy. We can't even defend our own military base in Cyprus.
And Farage's answer is telling. He doesn't deny the contradictions. He says that there are different opinions to whether they should physically join in the attacks. Different opinions on whether to bomb another country in a party that wants to run the government. But also, Farage was cheerleading for this war. He was making supportive noises about Trump's military action, and then the polls landed, and public opinion is overwhelmingly against British involvement in what many consider as possibly an illegal war. And suddenly Farage is the peace candidate. If we can't even defend Cyprus, let's not get ourselves involved in another foreign war. It's not principle, it's a focus group finding its way to a podium. It's the same pattern. Say one thing, see how it lands, and adjust. Council tax, concede the point, deny the point. Iran, back the war, read the room, pivot to restraint. Whatever the question, the answer is whatever works in the moment. Which brings us back to that petrol station. Reform refuel, 25 pence off, 1 day only. Turquoise branding across the price board, 25p off with Farage. The cheapest fuel in the country for 1 day. Paid for by a political party less than 2 months before local elections. Now, under Section 114 of the Representation of the People Act 1983, it is a criminal offence, a corrupt practice for a candidate of their agents to provide goods, services or material incentives to voters ahead of an election. The offence is called treating. It's the same law that got the mayor of Tower Hamlets removed from office, and it's been in the books for over 40 years. Now, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not saying definitively that this broke the law, but I am saying that a political party subsidising the price of a product for the general public, slapping their branding all over it, doing it weeks before the local elections while touring the country holding rallies, that is, at the very least, the kind of thing somebody should be asking about. And nobody did. Not one journalist at that press conference asked whether this might raise legal questions. Instead, every outlet in the country ran the footage. Reform fuel, 25 pence off with Farage. Exactly the coverage the stunt was designed to generate. Free advertising for a party that just promised to cut your bills while its own councils are putting them up. And that's what really the question is, isn't it? What's the point of having electoral law if a man polling the highest in the country can just ride roughshod over it and the media just films it? This is what Farage does. He says, cut your taxes on the leaflet, and then I never said that at the podium.
Was it a mistake to put it on your leaflet?
I never put it on my leaflets.
You did. It said,
I didn't.
reduce waste and cut your taxes. Those were the words.
Nothing with my name ever went on that.
That was on a Reform UK leaflet in Kent at the last
Nothing with my
elections.
name ever went on that.
He backs a war on Monday and opposes it by Tuesday. He sells you cheap petrol in March and sends you council tax bill in April. And at every stage, the system that is supposed to hold him to account, the journalists, the regulators, the laws, they all just watch it happen. Today wasn't a bad day for Nigel Farage. He got exactly what he wanted, but it should have been. Because ITV clip, the one nobody really is sharing, that's the one that tells you everything. That's the unguarded moment before the mask went back on. And the fact that he can put that mask back on in the same press conference and get away with it is not his failure. That is ours.